I always have to have a blanket on me at all times. And of course a coffee. And now I'm ready to get a little bit deep. Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. Today, I'm gonna be talking about 27 things I've learned in 27 years. It is my birthday here in just a few days. I'm turning 27, obviously. I had a request a while back to do a things I've learned in my 20s video. So I thought my birthday was the perfect time to sit down and kind of reflect on a few things that I have learned in my 20s. I'm definitely getting into my late 20s, which is crazy to say. I genuinely still feel 23, 24, 25 in that range. So to be coming up on 27 is a really crazy feeling for me. Just the other day, someone asked me how old I was and I was like 25. And I was like, wait, I'm actually about to be 27. The time has flown between 25 and 27. The older and older I get though, I feel like the more and more I just know who I am, what I want, who I want to be as a person. So I made a list, 27 things I've learned in 27 years. I'm gonna go through it. Some are fun and lighthearted. Some are a little bit deep, a little bit serious. And I always am wanting to grow and learn and be better. So if you have things you've learned, I'd love to hear it. Lighthearted, serious, whatever you think. Also, this video is sponsored by Naked Wines, so I will talk to you guys about them a little bit later on in the video, but just wanted to let you know. I actually am having a pretty low-key birthday this year. The past few years, I've thrown a big pregame, a big party, but I'm just gonna go out to dinner this year. I invited a few friends. We're gonna go out to dinner and ring in my birthday it's on a Tuesday, so it will literally be a Tuesday night dinner, but that just felt like what really fit me and the time in my life that I'm in right now. Every year, I feel like I get further and further away from wanting to go out and party. I still enjoy those nights every once in a while, but I can definitely feel myself just becoming more and more wanting to be at home and spend intentional time with people. Anyway, that's probably enough yapping for the intro. I have the list here on my phone. We have financial, we have skincare, we have fashion, we have friendships, relationships, everything you can think of is in here. So, and I feel like I could have kept going, truly. I was just getting on my soapbox when I was making this list. Let's just hop right into it. Number one, you are allowed to change your mind. Evolving and changing your mind and changing your decisions is a sign of growth. It is not a sign of weakness. I feel like especially with social media, I think people say things and are held to that standard really high. How many times in your life have you changed your mind? I have changed my mind a million times. I change my mind every day on what I want to have for dinner, breakfast, whatever. A good example of this is when I was in college and I changed my major. I thought it was a failure to change my mind on what I wanted to be when I grew up, but really it's just a sign of growth. Another good example is deciding if you want to have kids or not. You're allowed to go back and forth in these decisions because it's a sign that you're growing, you're evolving, you're learning things that are changing your mind. I think that's just a good lesson in general to realize about yourself, but also about others. If someone says, oh, I want to move to Florida next year, and then next year comes and they don't do that and they change their mind, they've learned, they've grown. You don't have to hold everyone to everything they say they're gonna do and they want, because people change and that is totally fine. Second one is perspective matters. And again, you could apply this to so many different things, but specifically for me, I'm talking about getting to know different people from different walks of life, different cultures, and understanding where people come from. If you never leave your little box, I just truly think that you're lacking a lot of perspective on the world and how other people think and feel because they grew up in a completely different area, different culture than you did. Every day, I'm very thankful that I went to a college where I really got to open my eyes to a lot of different cultures and perspectives, and it changed who I was as a person. So I think this one, just perspective matters. Talking to people from different walks of life can really open your eyes to the world and change you as a person. A lot of the time, saying nothing at all is the best thing to say. I think a good example of this one is commenting on someone's appearance or giving someone advice when they're not asking for it. At the end of the day, people just don't want to hear it, and there's absolutely no need to comment on someone's appearance in any way. You don't need to say things like, oh, you look like you've lost weight. I think, oh, I'm making sourdough. Let me go get that. Unless somebody asks for your opinion or your advice on their life, their decisions, I think it's best to just keep it to yourself. I have learned this the hard way, very much so. I used to have a reputation for being very blunt, and I think sometimes I can still be like that, but I really have tried to bring that in a little bit and only give my thoughts and opinions on someone else's life when they ask for it. So a lot of times you just gotta hold your tongue because it might hurt people's feelings even though you're not meaning to. You don't need 50 skincare products. This is something that I have come to terms terms with in the last year or so. I use like 3 products in the morning: cleanse, treat, moisturize. 3 products at night: cleanse, treat, moisturize. You don't need all the serums. You don't need all these things. The beauty industry really is preying on our insecurities. And a lot of times, simple is best when it comes to your skincare. Grocery shopping on a full stomach is dangerous. I feel like we all know this one. I feel like you learned this lesson very early on in life. My best advice is to have a full meal if you can before you go to the grocery store, because otherwise you're going to be grabbing everything that looks good and it's not on your list, and you're probably going to ring your bill up really high. No amount is too small of an amount to invest. Anything is better than zero. This is something I talk a lot about in my financial videos that I make. I truly believe even investing $50 a month is better than zero. There's plenty of charts that will show you how much that just $50 will compound over time versus putting in $0. Think about things you can cut for that $50 if you need to. Maybe go out to eat one less time to put that $50 into investments, because when you reach retirement, if we are lucky enough to reach that age, you will thank yourself for starting earlier. I wish I never stopped investing. I opened a investment account at 18. I put 50 bucks into it every month for a while until I got into like college, and then I was a poor college student and I was like, I can't afford this. Stopped those investments for like 5 years, and 5 years worth of $50 a month would be such a game changer now in my investment portfolio. But for those 5 years, I just didn't prioritize it. And so I definitely wish that I just kept that small $50 investment every month. I saw someone say this the other day and I really, really loved it. It's, if you want a village, you need to be a villager. Love this, because I have struggled in the past with 50-50 friendships. I feel like I put a lot into my friendships. I like to spoil my friends. I like to talk to them. A lot of times I feel like I don't get that effort back, and it's a lesson I've had to learn going forward in my life, that maybe I just need to let those people go. I can't have 20 best friends. If you want a village, be a villager. Treat people the way you want to be treated. It's kind of all goes hand in hand. I have a great example with wedding. When you get married, if you expect people to be excited for you and say congratulations and hype you up in your group messages and everything, then when other people are getting married, you need to act like that to them. You need to be excited for others if you want people to be excited for you. You need to bring people soup when they're sick if you want people to do that for you. Like, you can't expect a village if you're not willing to be a villager. Speaking of being a villager, I made 2 loaves of sourdough, one for me, one for a friend, and they look so good. You're only as rich as your relationships. This gets put in perspective a lot for me when there's loss. You can have all the nice things in the world, the beautiful house, the $3 million mansion. If you don't have someone to love, someone to share it with, you'll only ever be as rich as you can be without those things. And I think that's just a really good perspective and a thing to remember, and make sure you're prioritizing those relationships that are important to you. Vulnerability builds connection. I'm a huge oversharer, hence my online internet presence, but I do think in some ways that can be a good quality. When I do meet people, I think in a way it is easy for me to make friends because I will overshare and be vulnerable and tell them about myself and my life, and I think that makes it easier for others to feel they can do the same to me. They feel like, well, she told me this about her life, so I can open up about this in mine. I think showing that you're human, showing that you're vulnerable to people really does help build those connections and help build friendships. You have to get deeper than the surface to really build those relationships and good deep friendships. Put your skincare on your neck. This is a new one for me. I have not been doing this my entire life, and I just started that like a couple months ago. I'm realizing how important it is. My mother has been talking to me about it. She's like, I can really see my aging in my neck, and it's just kind of put perspective for me. I don't know why we only treat from here up when obviously your neck, your chest, you should really be putting all that skincare, all that product all the way down. If it's for anti-aging, we want to anti-age everywhere, including the back of your hands too. That's another one. When after I finish with my face, I'll just kind of rub it on the back of my hands. So let's spread our skincare a little bit further. Sometimes showing kindness is more important than being right, which goes hand in hand with saying sorry is not a weakness, and you'll never regret taking the high road. I felt like these all kind of went together. I have never been one who won't say sorry, but I do know people like that, and I think that is a very interesting quality. I don't think it's a good quality. I think you should be able to own when you're wrong. You should be able able to show kindness to people and swallow your pride a little bit. Aging is a privilege. I love this one because it's something I have struggled with. As I get older, I find myself being like, oh, I don't want to get old. Then I think about how life can be taken away in an instant. We see it every day on the news and it's tragic. You know, I have grandparents in their 80s and 90s, and how amazing that they got to get to that age. They got to live such a full life, which not every one of us here will get to do that. Aging is a privilege. Every year is a milestone that we get to make it to that. And I think that's honestly a reminder for me as well. I need to start celebrating aging and not cringing at it, because it can be taken away literally at any second. Okay, now that we're about halfway through the video, I want to take a break to talk to you guys about Naked Wines. It's a wine subscription service where you sign up and you become an angel and you pay $40 a month, and it goes straight into your account to shop all of their wines on their website at prices up to 60% off market value. So you shop the wine online and it gets mailed directly to your door. It's super cool. The wines on their website are made by independent winemakers, which I think is so cool because it gives you the opportunity to shop some different unique wines that you might not usually find at your local wine shop. Totally risk-free, cancel anytime. If you get a bottle and you don't like it, they'll give you a credit for the bottle. So I honestly just feel like there's no downside to this program. I think it's a really cool idea. They did give me a link. I will have it in my description box. It gets you a $100 voucher off a case of wine. So you get $100 off 12 full bottles of wine. Make sure you guys click my link and check them out. If you're a wine lover like me, it's a great way to try out some different wines, some different independent winemakers. And thank you again, Naked Wines, for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Okay, next up, not everything is personal. Most people are really only worried about themselves. What anyone else thinks or does isn't always about you, and you just kind of have to remember that. If someone hurts your feelings, someone doesn't invite you to something, you don't have to take it personal. Just kind of remember they're probably in their own world doing their own thing, just like we are a lot of the time. Not everything has to be personal. Never pick at your skin. Another one I've recently learned in the past year or so. My skin never used to scar, and I used to be a chronic picker. For whatever reason, I don't know, as I'm getting older, my skin is changing. My skin has started to scar. Picking my pimples makes it about 500 times worse. So never pick your skin. It's not good for it. It makes the acne, angry, flare up, potentially scar. So we are in recovery from picking. Stop rushing, stop wishing to get older, stop wishing for the next phase of life. Every phase in life is so short, and then you always look back on it with such love and nostalgia. When I was 13, I couldn't wait to be 16. When I was 16, I couldn't wait to be 18. When I was 18, I couldn't wait to be 21. And then you just keep rushing away life and all the beautiful stages. Another good example, my bridal era is coming to an end, and the whole time I just couldn't wait for it to end and to get married. And now that it's coming, I'm like, wait, this was such a short, fun period of life and it's about to be over. Stop rushing, stop wishing for the next moment, and really just try to focus on the one you're in. Easier said than done, but important. Excuses are endless, time is not. If you have something you want to do, just start. A good example is a YouTube channel or posting TikTok videos. I get questions on how to start and it's overwhelming. My number one advice is to just start. When I look back on my first videos on my channel, I started filming with an iPhone. I didn't have a camera. I didn't have a good setup for YouTube. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna start. And if I had never started, I would never be making this video for you guys today. I would never be a lot better at vlogging, have a lot better quality, because you really do learn as you do. You're not gonna be perfect when you start, but your excuses are endless, but your time is not. Just start. Practice makes perfect. You could also apply that to like the gym or learning a new skill. Eventually, so much time will pass that you can't do those things anymore. So do them now while you have the time. This one goes hand in hand with that one. Everyone is a beginner at some point. I think a great example of this is going to a new workout class and feeling really insecure. Where do I put my things? What do I do? I have started this past year walking into a new studio and I've never been there before. I walk in and I go, hi, I'm here. It's my first time. And immediately it's like, oh, let me help you. Let me show you where this is. Because everyone is a beginner at some point. Everyone goes to a new place for the first time at some point, and you have to stop letting being afraid of being a beginner stop you from doing things. Financial one, treat your credit card like a debit card. I have gotten some flack in the past for saying I use my credit card in that way. I put all my expenses on my credit card and pay it off at the end of every month. And I understand that that is not for everybody, but as someone who is like very financially type A, I guess, and tracks everything very meticulously, this works for me. But I'm basically saying only put on your credit card what you have in your bank account to pay off at the end of the month. If I know I have $4,000 in income every month, I don't put more than $4,000 on my credit card every month. You just have to be able to track your spending, and that way your credit card is not borrowed money. There shouldn't be more on there than you can pay off at the end of every month. I have made my mistakes with that in the past. I have maxed out a credit card in college and had to pay it off. It's a hard lesson to learn, but once you get good at tracking and understanding that, credit card can be a really valuable tool. Just to make it very clear, I'm only saying to do this if you have it under control. Accept your past choices. They have been made. You can't go back and change your college major now. You can't go back and make new decisions. They've been made, and we just have to find a way to be at peace with them. And at the end of the day, they all led you to who you are and where you are today. So they're all good decisions in their own way. There's so many little choices in my life that would have completely altered my life that I may not love the decisions. A good example is my master's. Sometimes I wonder if it was fully necessary because I do have a lot of student debt from it now. But then I think about how the whole reason I met my now fiance is because I got that master's and moved to Charlotte. And if I never did that, we would have never met. So just the invisible string theory, like everything happens for a reason. Your choices are made, accept them, and be happy with them. Balance is hard to find, but it is key. I think everyone is always trying to be balanced. I personally don't think it's healthy to never go out and have fun with friends because you are so focused on health and fitness, or only go out and have fun with your friends and treat your body like absolute crap. I think balance is key. I want to enjoy my life, but I also want to be healthy and live a long life and treat myself well. Balance can be hard, and it can be easy to teeter-totter either way. To the best ability you can, I think living a balanced lifestyle is the best way to do it. A simple, well-organized space feels way better than a cluttered space. I am big on constantly decluttering and getting rid of things I don't need. I'm big on not buying things that I don't need. I feel much more at peace. My brain is much more relaxed when I live in a clutter-free environment. We have a really big consumerism culture here in America specifically, and I just think kind of getting out of that constant need to go shopping and constant need to buy new things is good as you get older. You really don't need all that clutter. You need the simple things, a few decorations and nice things to make your space feel nice, but we don't need clutter. You are wasting so much time being insecure. Specifically, I'm talking about physical appearance with this. I have wasted so much time and energy feeling insecure about my body. It's actually sad and such a just a waste. I know we all look back on high school and we're like, I was so small there. But like in the time I thought I was big. You know what I mean? We're just wasting so much time by being insecure. I still struggle with this. I'm aware of it, and I think that's the first step of kind of moving forward. My mom has helped me a lot with this because she just says, you know, one day you wake up and you're 50. And she's like, you are so beautiful now and you don't even know it. As an example, I think this can be for a lot of other things as well. You're wasting time being insecure with friendships and relationships and just a lot of wasted energy with insecurities. So to the best you can, you just have to be confident in who you are, what you look like, what you have, and be thankful for it. It's okay to buy expensive clothes that are staple pieces. They can be worth the splurge, but trendy pieces are not. I have a lot of more expensive clothes that I genuinely do think are worth the price. I think a good pair of jeans, a good jacket, a lot of these things are worth getting the nicer quality item. I don't think I need the really expensive like cheetah print sweater, you know what I mean? Just more trendy things, but staple items, I think it's okay to splurge on those. Which I used to only buy cheap clothes, especially in college. They just don't last. The important things in your wardrobe, I think it's okay to splurge on those. Getting out of your comfort zone is the best way to grow. It's really hard to put yourself out there, but it really is the best way to grow and to learn new things about yourself. I think of when I moved to a new state and I didn't know anybody. Literally 2 days after I moved, I went out to an event to try to meet friends. If I didn't do that, my life would look so different now. Those girls are some of my best friends. We're like in each other's weddings, and I really had to put myself out there for that. It's hard, and I am someone who has a lot of anxiety and social anxiety. It's always so rewarding to put yourself out there. And the worst thing that happens is you don't have the best time, you come home and you try to forget about it. Nothing super bad is gonna happen by putting yourself out there, and a lot of times something really good will come from it. Even a little bit of movement is better than no movement. This one is just basically to say, take care of your body, exercise. It's a lot easier easier to pay attention and stay in decent shape than it is to get back in shape after you've already lost it. A 20-minute workout, 20-minute walk is better than sitting on the couch for 20 minutes. Even if you only have a little bit of time, even if it's not your best workout ever, I truly do believe like a little bit of movement is better than none. As we age and as we get older, these things really do make a difference in your mobility. I was a exercise science major in college actually, and I remember one of the biggest takeaways for me was when you're 80, how active you were when you were younger plays a big part in your mobility as you get older. So it's important to move your body, find what works for you, and even doing a little something is better than doing nothing. It gets a lot harder as you get older to stay mobile and to stay active, so do it while you can and do it for as long as possible. The way you communicate with people and with your partner is so important. Communication is key for happy, healthy relationships. You need to be able to sit down with your partner and have a serious conversation where you disagree on something without that turning into an argument. It's just as much about how you handle it as how they handle it. You shouldn't be quick to anger. You need to be able to hear out the other person. If when you sit down to have a serious conversation, it goes straight to an argument, that's just not healthy. You need to be able to have serious conversations and come out stronger on the other side. If every time you try to communicate it's a fight, that is a red flag. Rounding out 27, change is constant and you got to get comfortable with it. Another one that I'm learning every day, things are constantly changing. The weather, the seasons, where you live, your job. You kind of just have to get comfortable with things changing. Who's in your life, who's not in your life. Friends move, they start to have babies, you disconnect, you reconnect. Nothing is constant in this life. Things can change in an instant, and the sooner that you can kind of become comfortable with that, then I think the smoother and less anxiety ridden your life is gonna be. Wow, okay, 27 things. Some were deep, some were not. This was kind of just a big brain dump, honestly, on my phone. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you kind of maybe got something out of it. I feel like the whole theme really is just trying to be the best version of yourself, loving others, and staying balanced. I did another video like this when I turned 25 and I went and watched it and I was like, honestly, I think I was really starting to figure things out at 25, and the older I get, the more and more I really feel like I'm starting to understand how the world works. If you're struggling, just know it's temporary. Things get better. I love you guys so much. Thank you as always for being here, sticking around through all the years, and I will see you all so very soon in my next video. Bye guys.